Hi everybody, and how was what was Jamie's tour? My name is Norman Fang, and welcome to our which episode is this?
72.
72. Wow, great. And so those of you are new with us, my name is Norman Fang. I started with Norman's Orchid in 1986, and we started this podcast last March because of pandemic, and it's been very popular. And thank you for staying tuned with us. And I also, Jeff is so nice. We also launched a YouTube channel. So a lot of time he added and posted there. So maybe some of you have friends not in our country, outside USA. You can actually tell them, or you can actually subscribe it. Every time Jeff post a video over there, you will get notice. So today's topic, how many of you were there last week? And the winner of the last week, the wheel spin, we got two winners. And the other winner is Kelly. Kelly, we're going to send it out your print next week. And that was, okay. So we continued last week's banana. Okay, so this week is actually Violacea. So this is the typical, or what we usually call Violacea sumatrana. And this is the one that used to, in the 80s, we used to call banana, but now it's called Violacea anyway. But this is the sumatrana form. For those who interest, because we always have people asking what number do we have for sale. So we always now put the number here. And this is the essentially the type species. We call it Violacea sumatrana form. And they are from Sumatra area from Malaysia. And so they typical ranging from the kind of light lilac purple to reddish color, and they can be darker in form. We had that kind of form too, but this is the stray species. This is in my collection for, gosh, at least 6 to 8 years. This one is due for repotting next year, and this one have 4 spikes on them. Okay, so this is the foundation where a gentleman named H.P. Norton. We always give credit where credit is due. H.P. is a dear friend. He started line breeding of the Sumatrana form, and so every generation he wanted darker and darker, and by all means, all of a sudden he come across a strain. Is what we refer as indigo. Can the indigo color compare? This is a comparison between the color. Okay, Violacea variety indigo is not a natural hybrid. You cannot find natural species. You cannot find it in the wild. Rather, it's a horticulture miracle. So when the hybridizer keep doing inbreeding for selection for a particular color, in this case it's an indigo strain, that's how we come out with. So a lot of time right now the indigo strain or the Violacea is the most desirable, but I just wanted to let you see side by side. This is the wild species strain form and the Violacea indigo. Okay, so I'm going to take this away from here. So, and to comparison in the size, this is the Violacea banana. Okay, Violacea in general, the size of the plant are smaller than banana, and Violacea indigo is even more compact. I can show you the story on the Violacea indigo. When the indigo first come out, I think it was a sensation, and I think it was, I remember back in the early 90s, it was a 4 to 6 inches leaf span. It's about $100 US, and that out of that seeding, maybe the first generation, maybe about 20%, maybe light blue, British indigo, not that today's indigo. So every generation they're darker and darker. But the trouble at those days is they become so much inbreed. If you look at some of the older American Orchid Society award, I know we have some audience, or we have some member, is the AOA judge. If you look at some of the older, the first generation of the Violacea Indigo Award, they usually have one flower only. Okay, and with one flower only, and rarely you can have two flower at the same time. And the plants are usually very small, and the root system is kind of questionable, and that's the trouble with the indigo breed. So, or the earliest, so much inbreeding. The modern indigo, I'm going to show you here. This is the modern indigo. They have been outcrossed, backcrossed, and sip. So now the new generation of indigo are a lot easier. Not only a lot easier to grow, faster to grow, and also have a very more vigorous rooting. I'm going to show you. This is the root of the indigo, the much more vigorous. And Gabriel at Puerto Rico just showed me a picture of his Cattleya amedagasa. Which is mechatry. It's all about the root. So I'm going to show you. So this is the indigo, the newer. This is the previous older generation. They're not quite indigo, but kind of, I still call it cerulean. So every generation it gets it and better. And I still like indigo for a reason, because indigo Violacea strand is more compact. So if you are going under light, go in windowsill, this is actually more manageable in size. And then also the flower spike is also getting shorter and shorter. And I'm just pouring this like 5 minutes ago, and because the indigo, this is actually the end of summer. I'm going to show you some of the issue might occur with the indigo. Well, not really, because flowers so long. So again, that last week we have a lot of honey, so you're going to have some mildew produced over here. So because we have so many plants, and this is actually a good opportunity when, you know, I just love this. The Corax is not only, it got 70% rubbing alcohol in there, so it's really good disinfect. Easy to remove all the mildew. Okay. From it. The mildew is just doesn't. If you still want to get the mildew off the leaf, because that cut down on the photosynthesis. And also, it just doesn't look as ornament. Okay. So a lot of time, this is the bronzy color on the indigo or the blue. They kind of turn brownish or copper tone before they fade it. So this has actually been blooming for almost 2 months. So they're getting tired, but they still hold on. Do not remove them yet. Then they still have a lot of energy going. So this is why the new strand of indigo have 2 flowers versus the earlier stage of indigo only have 1 flower at a time. And between each flower, it could be 2 months. So this is why you always want to get the newest and latest, and that is our job as a breeder, to offer you guys always the latest. And every generation we always have better and better. And don't worry about which one. On the website, there's a search button on the right hand side. you just type in Violacea, or you can type in indigo. So they will bring out all the indigo and the indigo hybrid that we have with it. So if you are growing the banana already that we had last week, the culture is the same. Just make sure the crown, the water, do not stay in the crown. Okay, or you can just actually grow them hanging and tilt it in a 45-degree, so the leaf, the water, the moisture will fall off the leaf naturally. And the Violacea indigo type, and they also have the alba form of the Violacea. Okay, so you have alba form, you have the Sumatrana form, the indigo form. Then we also doing a lot of breeding, and it's actually more work on breeding with Violacea indigo versus the banana right now at the moment. One of the reasons, for me anyway, I like the cut down the size of the leaf on a lot of hybrid. For example, this is Hodgin, this is a red. This is actually from Yang Prince Orchid make this one here. This is Hodgin. This is registered as a Yang black grape. So it's Hodgin fancy as a pop parent, but using the indigo as a parent parent. So we actually cut down the size, and this is actually more compact than either parent. And at the same time, because of some of the novelty, Hodgin diamond had yellow in the background, so the spike can get really tall. So now the wonderful part about this hybrid is the compactness, the fragrance, and the manageable spike. So you can easily put this in for your underlight. And notice that this is the first bloom from here. So this is this is a characteristic of the Violacea indigo, and the second bloom will be higher. So they still have that sequential ability onto their next hybrid, and the flower is tremendous hybrid. Okay, so so if you see any of the hybrid that we offer have Violacea indigo, you can always guarantee they're going to have a tremendous color into it. Here's another primary hybrid with the indigo. Okay, and this actually have a lot of charm. This have a lot of, look at this. This have the species called Pokra. They had Lutemaniana. So this hybrid is really, and look at how dark the color. Okay, it's almost like, it's not indigo, but it's actually kind of fuchsia reddish color. It's a lot of color. You cannot really tell the color under this light because we are in the greenhouse, and the fiberglass do a good job of filtering out a lot of the yellow and red, because they don't want the orchid to be burned. But the best color is to take it outside, and then if you don't want to photograph this kind of color, the indigo, if you take it outside, it's going to turn purple. So the best way to photograph the indigo is do it at night, or do it indoor under the cool white fluorescent light, and that's the best way to get the true color. I know William Chang had a question about how to capture the indigo, and for the reddish color like this, it's always best to go put it outdoor under the natural light before 12 o'clock. Sometimes at 12 to 2 o'clock is too hot and too bright, and it's going to wash out a lot of color. So the primary hybrid are very good, and we also, this is not released yet, but here's another indigo hybrid. It's been Hanover Passion and crossed with Violacea indigo. Hannibal passion is a Phalaenopsis with a lot of Emboliensis and Bellina in the background. So here we go again, that the ability for the novelty to cut the spike down smaller and more compact, and still have the only thing back you cannot smell it, the indigo fragrance is really dominant, and especially Hannibal passion, for example, have the Emboliensis, which is another amazing fragrance species. So, how are we doing?
Good. Bill is asking on
Bill
the white Violacea,
Yeah,
is it vigorous or is it a slower grower?
Bill, depending on where you got it from, there's lots of selfing, inbreeding. The Violacea alba or even Bellina alba, like from our nursery, you don't have to worry about the vigorous. We always do the best, sibling. We don't do inbreeding. We always do outsources. We get from different breeders plant. We have a connection of people from Malaysia with a native country. So it's not like some of the nursery here they just self-fit and inbreeding. And there's a perfect example of it's a nursery in San Gabriel, no longer in business. I know the breeder, and I say, why are you always using this? You don't bring other people plant in. But the philosophy for that company in the 80s is, well, if we bring in other people's plant, that doesn't make our plant unique. And I think that's a very bad, not just a business decision, but also a disaster in breeding point of view, especially for genetic. You have to constantly bring in outside gene pool. I was talking to my Bengal cat breeder, Anthony, and Anthony, we were talking about, Anthony, we were talking about the Bengal breeding, Bengal cat breeding, and they asked, oh yeah, this is the parent of the one that he had to get it from Florida, because he sometimes had to get Bengal from different breeder to get different gene pool, because Bengal cat, for example, is a hybrid of Asian leopard cat, the wild cat, onto domestic cat. So you don't know which domestic cat was involved. So it's always nice to have different gene pool. And so yes, I know Bill is concerned about the vigorous. There are a lot of the what we call slow grower, and this is the same issue with the Violacea indigo, the earlier strain from HP. There was too much inbreeding. So the indigo that we have right now consists of one strain from Japan. There's a Japanese buy some of indigo from HP went to Japan. There's one strain went to Taiwan, and there's one strain went to Malaysia. And there's each gentleman do their own work. So now there's a new strain we call a Norman indigo strain. It's a combination of what I brought back from Japan, Taiwan, and Malaysia, and mix them up. And then we do it. And that's why I can say Norman's indigo strain right now is the best indigo strain. Not just the color, but also vigorous, and also the flower count also. So you have a lot of choice. So there's also make your study on your indigo. I think we have a lot to offer, but we don't always offer everything we have. We only offer the best or what we have on the website. There are some hybrid that is not vigor, that the hybrid are not very good. We just sometimes we just trash it, we dump it, because we don't want to pass out. Hey, everything go out of this nursery is from Norman's Orchid. We're very proud. We have a name tag there, and name tag, the pedigree, the breeding is everything. You come to Norman's Orchid because you want about the average. Myself a judge, and when I do something for breeding, I already put an eye for quality. This has got to be 90 point, 80 point for color, 90 point for this and that. So This is why a lot of people got our plant and they get award from different part of the region. And this is the one that I haven't been released yet, and I've been hiding from Jamie. Can you believe that? This is the newest indigo hybrid. Okay, it's amazing. It's Violacea indigo, but this indigo, the Violacea indigo is actually 50% indigo and 50% red indigo. So that's what we have, and cross with Jones Coralwood. Okay, so it's phenomenal. Every single flower is like so uniform. They almost there's a monochrome. Everything. There is no bad flower. So look at the size of flower. Huge. This all seeding. So this will be released, and I've been yeah. This is what Jamie haven't seen this one. I've been hiding away from her. But this is so this is the one of the cross that was okay. This is good enough. We will issue an NF number on them. If they're not about the average, we don't even assign NF number. It didn't get in trouble. So we just let it go. Sometimes we give for the local customer here. We give a very reasonable price for beginner. Okay, and sometimes we offer a special. But anyway, any question? All right. So the Violacea indigo is versus from the one from last week is wonderful if you want smaller plant. But this actually the fragrance is very different than the Bellina the last week. Indigo is more to me it's even more concentrated. Very very exotic for me, and their fragrance peak about maybe 2 o'clock versus the Bellina maybe about 11 a.m. So that's different, and that's wonderful. Huh?
How do you compare the fragrance?
It's very hard. Everybody knows it's different, but Bellina, for example, is more the sweet, a lot of honey sweet. Indigo have a lot of. If you have grown the Bossavola Dipiana, really punch, very. To me, it's more spicy, almost like old spice. Mix it up, give it more kick, in a way. All right. So I will grow this species just for the fragrance alone. And if you go on the light, brush your hair because you can set your light at minimum 12 hours a day. Get Jeffrey light, like the best for flowering. Okay, and Sunny will tell you get a heat mat. Okay, get a heat mat and put all your warm growing, the species, the Bellina and Violacea, and put it above the heat mat and turn the heat mat at 65 degrees. So they are minimum at 65 degrees, especially at night, and with the optimum light daylight at minimum at 12 hours a day. You're gonna have Bellina and Violacea, and its primary hybrid, for example, flower all winter long for you, because our Bellina naturally in the greenhouse, because our sunset by November is kind of only about 6 hours a day. The sun by 4 o'clock p.m. is pitch dark. Okay, so that's why when they go to sleep, and even if you turn on the heat at night, it won't do it. This type of Bellina and Violacea is combination of the heat at night, the warm at night, and also the daylight. Okay, so daylight is also part of the requirement for flowering this kind of stuff, and very different than Cattleya. Some Cattleya they have so many hours of darkness before they flower, and for all the hybrid, I think this is the young blueberry. Can you see this influence of young blueberry? I actually have tetrapress in the background, and that's why okay. But this is the C1, but the Yang blueberry is actually using the Tetrapus cerurea form. So MC2165. This is the first time we offer blueberry.
2156.
Yeah, 2156. Sorry. Yeah, this is the perfect example. I think this is the part of the best. If you want to call it multi-floor. Looks like a miniature form of Violacea indigo, but have a lot of, look at the characteristic of Violacea Tetrapus in there, and the fragrance is amazing. So this is actually, because the Tetrapus in the background, they can actually continue to flower in the winter time, because Tetrapus does not need a lot of cold temperature. In fact, we have flowers C1, and I did the experiment last winter. I put it in my Cattleya house. That house does not have heater last all winter. It went down to 48 degrees. And the Tetrapus C1 are actually tolerant at a 48 degree, gradually at night. Plus, I don't water them. So Tetrapus have the ability of more cold tolerance of all the novelty species. So this is actually the hybrid. If you live in Pacific Northwest or Northeast in the wintertime, no problem, because the plant genetic, and they also have that signature Tetrapus sheen on the foliage. So this sheen, this is the natural wax, and that wax is actually to protect the plant from pest and disease. All right. So Jeff, are we okay? Can we move on? Okay, I think this will be a kind of overview on the Violacea and Violacea indigo and the hybrid. So I'm going to jump into the show and tell.
Cross this to any mini show.
Yes, and one of the things I'm trying to do right now. Okay, remember the green Tetrapus we have? Ooh, look at this. Okay, if you're looking for this is the amazing strand. Okay, that you can only get it from Norman. This is using the Tetrapus green Norman JMAOS crossed with the spotted form, and Norman's J, the green, is not as dark, but for some reason, just when you combine two different strands of Tetrapus, this one, the flowers get darker and darker as the flower age. So we guys are going to cross this onto Yang blue dragonfly, Yang blueberry, Violacea indigo, Belina. We can start mixing it up. What's interesting, if you can tell on this, look at the state cinema here. It's actually white here. This part is green. It's light green. And the back of the flower is solid green. And can you focus on the lip? Look at the lip. The cotton ball like usually is white in Tetrapus. It's also turned green. Now, there is a photograph that I use for this phal symposium that I got from Mr. Liu. Many 30 years ago, he got one of the photograph is solid green. And a lot of people say, oh, that must be a Photoshop. Well, guess what? The photograph was taken even before Photoshop software was available. So I actually make a phone call. He's a good friend of mine. He's a retired medical doctor. He said, yes, that's actually the flower white, and then gradually age to green. So now I believe there is a hidden gene in the Tetrapus green, or even some white spotted. There's an inherent gene in the Tetrapus. And why this is so important, the reason they turn green, they almost become, the flower become the leaf that have chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll means they are making their own nutrient. So the flower can actually last 2-3 months, individual flower, because they're also making their own nutrient from the leaf, from all these petal. So what's that mean to the future generation? Well, the flower might last forever, even longer for you. All right, so this is very exciting because you as a group are going to watch this development. Tetrapus is very new. We don't see Tetrapus in the 80s. The species itself is actually kind of come into the field when they are start getting to some of the jungle. We not able to get in there before, and they are started going to some of the newer jungle to go for more oil palm plantation. And this is how the Tetrapus, or in Asia they call it speciosa, come up the jungle, and there's people in Indonesia start saving them, collect do the seed, and then the dry seed, and I started to distribute to my friend, to network friend, and we start acquire. So I'm actually a self-proclaimed Tetrapus king here. I have probably the best Tetrapus species and primary hybrid in America, and I take credit and I take responsibility for introduce them to USA, because I think that the species for Tetrapus, look at this here, okay, the primary hybrid is very good for us in the 21st century, because most of my clients, 70% of them do not have greenhouse. Nobody has the backyard. If you see the new houses being built even around here in the suburb in Los Angeles, 3 feet. There's no more room to do greenhouse. But everybody can set up a light stand for under light windowsill. So this is actually, this is why the Tetrapus is so popular now, not just in the United States, and also in Europe. My friend Alex told me that people in Italy is crazy about Tetrapus and Tetrapus hybrid, because it's a very given plant. So when we start using the Tetrapus and onto the indigo, Tetrapus and indigo, you start making a lot of nice, next generation of primary hybrid of line breeding. Okay, so stay tuned with us. We're going to see some of the more exciting stuff 2-3 years down the line. Okay. All right. So we have completed this session, and next week we're going to talk about the Dendrobium, the anthrotype, the Australian Dendrobium. I always want to do this before the winter comes. All right. So let's do the show and tell.